Okay, hi again everyone, Professor Sebastian. Moving on to the next page of our notes, page 46. We're in section 4.1 where we just introduced scatter plots for trying to compare the relationship between two numerical variables. In the previous example, we talked about comparing the number of floors in a building to the building's heights. So we want to note three features: trend, strength, and shape. So we'll talk about each one of those separately. So trend is the general tendency of the scatter plot as you read it from left to right. So as you read from left to right along the x-axis. The typical trends that you will see are an increasing or an uphill, often called a positive association. In other words, as the x increases, in this case this is weight, right? As x increases, then the y value tends to increase. So this is going uphill. If you imagine a line going through the middle of all these dots in the scatter plot. The scatter plot shows a positive trend because the graph goes uphill as you scan from left to right. This means as the weight of cars increases, as x increases, the horsepower, which is y, also tends to increase. So again, always summarize these by saying as x increases. So as x increases is always the same, and then you say that y either tends to increase or decrease. So if it's positive, it would be increase. A downhill trend would look like the following. So it's like the line is going downhill as we read from left to right. So as the weight of cars increases, the miles per gallon, the total miles per gallon, tends to decrease. So that's a negative trend because the graph goes downhill as you scan from left to right. Again, I said it, but this means as the weight of car increases, total miles per gallon tends to decrease. You may see some scatter plots that really don't have a trend. So it would kind of look like this. There's neither an uphill nor a downhill tendency. So let's move on and show that. Here there's no trend. It's just dots everywhere. I mean, how would I even know where to put a line? So this scatter plot shows no trend because the points seem to follow no predictable pattern. This means that there is no relationship between, in this case, heart rate, the x coordinate, or the variable, the numerical variable on the x-axis, heart rate, and body temperature. There doesn't seem to be any kind of relationship between them. There are other times where we will also see that there is a trend, but notice that it's not linear, right? Because if I tried to draw something through this that fit the middle, it wouldn't really be a line. You might think of representing that with a parabola or something like that. So this data set shows an association between two variables, right? There is some relationship going on, but it cannot be characterized as positive or negative, and it's certainly not linear. So note, we will only work with linear trends in this class. We will only look for linear trends in this class. Okay, I'll stop there.